Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. In case you missed it, this is video 2 of 2 tonight for STAMPtember. Simon Says Stamp has done 2 collaboration sets. So I did an earlier video, or it goes up at the same time as this one. The previous one was Studio Katia. This one is kitchen sink stamps. This is the limited edition Butterfly Kisses STAMPtember collaboration set. With all the limited edition sets, these are one and done. They are not restocked. Once they're sold out, they're gone. I have a feeling this one specifically will go incredibly quickly. The kitchen sink collabs always sell out so quickly. And this one is no exception. It's a beautiful set. So if you're not familiar with kitchen sink stamps, the vast majority, if not all, of their stamp sets are layering buildable sets, and they're very detailed. And what I really like is on their packaging, like on the packaging, the stamps are in different colors. They're also labeled like 1A, 2A, 3A, etc. So it's very, very easy to see what goes with what. And they're also quite easy to line up. So with this set, I stamped all 3 of the first layer of the butterflies, and I used Simon's Surf ink. You generally want to have at least 3 different shades of ink, depending on how many layers there are. A lot of times you can, if you don't have, multiple shades of similar colors, you can also ink up the stamp more than once, and that'll get you a darker image. So there's other options. With these ones, rather than do the 3 layers in like one of Simon's trios, because this trio is Seafoam, Surf, and Ocean, I started with Surf, which is the middle color for the base. Then I lined up the second layer, and that's why my head was in the way, because it's easiest to just look straight down, because you look through the stamp, you line it up, it's good to go. So the second layer I stamped with Ocean ink, which is technically the darkest of the trio. So did that, and I was repeating the process on a second piece, because why not? Once you've got everything lined up, why not stamp multiples? And then, of course, I don't have enough time, especially this month. But as I was doing this, I was like, oh, these would be really fun to do a rainbow of colors with. So there's another idea that would just want to do. But again, I don't have time. Things are crazy. But this color combo was really fun. So I stamped those first 2 layers, and with these stamps, because it's a brand new stamp set, and especially when you're doing like larger solid images, I just rub my fingers on the stamps. That kind of helps condition them so the inks coat better and they stamp better. So I only have to do it once, at the very beginning, and they're good to go. So the third layer I stamped with black, and that's when it just, it all comes together and it looks fabulous, and these are beautiful. Love. Like the minute you lift the lid on the MISTI, and it's like, yes. So after those were stamped, I trimmed them all out, and there you can see the packaging, and it's got all the colors, which again is on the packaging. It's not the stamps themselves. Although the stamps will stain. Photopolymer does stain. Not a big deal. Doesn't affect the stamps at all. So I took just the Hugs sentiment. It's another reason why I really liked this set, is there's a lot of buildable phrases and whatnot, and of course a mix of fonts. Always love. So I took the Hug sentiment and I inked it up with just some white pigment ink, and I stamped it onto Simon's Peacock cardstock, and I'm heat embossing it with Simon's gold embossing powder. And then same thing, I'm going to trim that out as well. And then for my background, I decided I was going to do some hot foiling. So welcome to my hot foil station. I've literally set it all up. It's set up kind of behind me, and I got my little camera mount, aka I'm filming this with my phone because I don't have multiple cameras. And yeah, hopefully I can start showing this more often in videos, because I really was starting to hate trying to haul in the die cut machine and the hot foil machine and all the things in on my desk front that you guys always see, because I'm lucky if I end up with 2 square feet of space. Usually it's 1 square foot of space if I'm lucky, So anyway, got my little camera set up. So I'm using the Bohemian background hot foil plate. And I showed there with the large plates, any of these big ones, these backgrounds, the solid ones. This is a trick that Yana Smakula told me about, because I was like, I am struggling. I can't get them to foil. Is you turn on the machine, you get it ready to go. Everything's, the light goes on. You got the plate on, and then you put the plate on there. You press the timer button. You let it go till it's solid, and then you shut your machine off, let it go, you know, a few seconds, 10, 15 seconds, whatever. Turn it back on, and then do the process a second time. And that second set of like heating it up, for me, is perfect. You might have to do it 3 times, you know, because every machine is just slightly different, that sort of thing. But I find 2 is great. And then I put my glimmer foil pretty side down towards the hot foil plate, my cardstock, which was just Simon's white 120-pound cardstock. Press the button. Once it was solid, I ran it through my machine, or like my Platinum 6 die cut machine, and chef's kiss. I used satin, either satin or matte gold foil. I'm not sure if there's a difference, like the glimmer foil for this. So it's not super bright and reflective, but still super pretty. I didn't worry about the edges because, as you can see here, I'm just trimming them off. And yeah, this pattern and design is fabulous. And yes, you can use that foil that was left over with a solid hot foil plate and foil it and get the reverse image. That's also something you do, but that's not what I'm doing for this video because, again, I'm like flying by the seat of my pants. So for these backgrounds, after I trimmed them down, I blended the lightest of the ink trio. So this is Seafoam Positively saturated ink, and I used a blending brush, and I just blended this around the edges of these panels just to give it a little more color, because I want obviously the butterflies to like pop. And then I also die cut some white cardstock and some vellum with the Tattered Leaves wafer die, again just to give it a little something for the butterflies to fly around. So I don't adhere the vellum at all. I just put my craft tacky glue on the back of the white die cut piece, and I'm going to offset this one from the vellum, and then that will hold all the vellum in place. And I just stick it under my MISTI, so that'll hold it flat while I work on the second one. Same thing. Add all the adhesive, pop that into place, and then that will adhere the vellum die cut in place as well. And then the butterflies, I'm going to pop onto this card with Simon's thin foam squares. So again, gives it just a little bit of dimension. So pop that into place, and then I'm also going to adhere the Hugs sentiment with thin foam squares as well for additional embellishment. So after I've got my card front basically ready to go, my card base is more of Simon's white cardstock. It's going to be a top folding A2 card, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I've got the card base inside my MISTI again, and I'm lining up more sentiments from that Butterfly Kisses stamp set. And stamping, since I'm doing 2 cards at once, it's quick and easy. So I lined up the 2 parts of the sentiment, stamped that with Nocturne ink, and then the larger individual word, I inked that up with Ocean ink. Got that stamped, and then also stamped the smallest of the butterflies from the set, because why not? So again, this is where it works, where you want to, if you need to do a lot of cards, just get into that, you know, system and process, and it just makes it simple, because you line it up, stamp, line it up, you know, stamp it multiple times, line up the next one, stamp multiple times, line up the next one. You know what I mean? So anyway, stamp the layers the same as how I did the front. So I used the Surf ink for the base, the Ocean ink for the second layer, and then the final layer is that Nocturne ink again. So once that was stamped, I adhered the card fronts to the card base with craft tacky glue. And then of course I'm going to add a bunch of bling. I have Studio Katia Ocean Wave Crystals, Studio Katia Teal Ocean Pearls, and Trinity Stamps Gold Eclipse Rhinestones. I'll have links to everything like I always do. So I sprinkled those rather liberally throughout both of these cards. And then once I was happy with the placement, I of course adhere them into place with dabs of craft tacky glue using my little embellishment wand. So once I've got everything adhered, I'm going to pair these cards with some gold envelopes from Simon Says Stamp as well. It's one of my faves. So I've just got this like gold, teal, aqua combo going on. And it's really hard to show the foil in video. You can kind of see in the photos, but it's just pretty. Subtle, but pretty. So as always, I'll have a link below the video to my blog post. I'll have a link to the limited edition set. All that info will be in the description box below, and especially my blog post, which is always the first link directly below. So you can check that out if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching, for thumbs upping and commenting. I very much appreciate all the thumbs up and comments. You guys love it. It it helps. It tells the robot overlords that you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, and hopefully it'll push it out further in the algorithm. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.